Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new tiny whoop clone. Don't be wrong with the box, this is nothing else than the new Eachine E010S in special edition, in FPV edition, and is nothing else that's a direct competitor, of course, of the original tiny whoop, but also with the new micro-fire micro FPV. So I think Eachine rushed to deliver this product and they used the QX100 box, but don't be wrong, inside you will find the right new competitor, a tiny whoop, and the associated features sounds promising. SPS-3 flight controlling board, strong 0615 race star motors, spinning faster, okay, should offer much punch. And you have different version for choice of receiver. Mine is the Fierce Sky version, okay, in D8 mode, but you will be able to find also DSM2, DSMX Spectrum compatible, and a Fly Sky receiver version as well. Let's discover and open the box. Okay, let's discover a little bit the content. Start with the accessories. First, a bag with some basic accessories. You will be able to find two bags with 4 props, spare props, orange color, exactly the same than the what you will be able to find, for example, in the original Eachine E010. Okay, here's mine modded, but we will compare with it. And you will find an USB charger, okay, to plug directly your micro or the connector of your battery. Two small 3M tape in case where your current one for the camera installed on the top of the flight control board is damaged. Two rubber band to attach your I guess some other, or if you want to strap your battery differently, that's great, and a prop wrench remover. Okay, so basic, but at least you have some spare parts compared to the for example, micro-fire. You will find a basic instruction manual printed. I've got the Fierce Sky version, and the Fierce Sky receiver is working in PPM mode. Okay, so you have all the how to configure with a Taranis radio, for example. Okay, and how to use, for example, the IO camera. It's a 40 channel 800 TVL, and I will explain how to use it. Okay, so let's now have a look to the main machine with the LiPo. Immediately I will give an information about the LiPo. It's a 150 model with a discharge rate of 45C, so scaling exactly 5.1 g, ending with a micro LED connector. You will need approximately more than 30 minutes to recharge it, okay? So I can give you some dimension if you want. Okay, so it's a basic 26 millimeters by 20 by something like 6 millimeters. Okay, basic one, and it can fit perfectly the battery bay. No real free room, but of course you can install a more longer model if you want to extend, but it's fitting perfectly the battery bay. So let's start with the main information. Here is your E010S, so very similar to the original. Maybe now the duct system is transparent, seems to be a different type of plastic, more flexible it seems to be. But the main novelty here are the presence of new type of 615 motors, racer, and to spin at 59,000 RPM, so should offer more boost, okay, for ascent rate. That's great, but the price maybe will be the smaller, shorter flight time. We will see in practice. And but exact that, it's exactly the same than E010, and let's compare directly with this main competitor, the micro-fire micro FPV. Okay, so let's compare them. they seem to have more or less the same time of IO FPV camera, but this one for the E010S come with a cloverleaf antenna, so better for range propagation, but for in terms of durability, maybe for a lot of in case of lot of indoors crash on hard surfaces, maybe a linear antenna would be just a right choice. Anyway, sounds pretty good. The FPV camera is just installed on a piece of tape, double-side tape, okay, nothing special, and the antenna, 2.4 GHz antenna, and just a basic buy button here for the FieSky G8 modem. On the rear side you can find installed vertically, that's good, the micro USB port for configuration. Remember on the micro FPV from Microfire it was bottom, and here, and in fact in practice to reset accelerometers and gyroscope it was not a really good choice, because the micro USB connector forced to the machine to be bent, not perfectly the possibility to install it horizontally. Here the case will be installed vertically. It's a better choice in my point of view. So let's start with the main question: how heavy is this machine? Okay, let's start without the battery. And as you can see, less than 20 grams. Great, and let's add the battery. 25 grams. So if I compare with the Microfire, be aware this one got a stronger 200 milliamps powered by LiPo, so 25% more I would say. This one is 27.4, so close to 2 grams more, but let's compare what is comparable. I will use this battery, and with the 200 one, let's check the total weight. It's 25.6, so close to 2 grams more lighter than the Microfire. That's great, and there is a lot of room of improvement. First of all, look, the mainly connector, it's a large gauge versus the Microfire, and this one is using a micro GST connector 1.25 millimeters connector, while the micro is, so there is probably a way to save a fraction of gram by swapping for this kind of connector, okay, if you want to use the same battery. So probably maybe 0.5 grams should be saved, and in this case you can directly trim the plastic bay to directly attach the battery, such kind of battery, with a rubber band, and probably more than 1 gram could be saved. So the total weight will be very low, and in my point of view you can save 1 gram, close to 2 grams with such modes. That will be definitively great. But anyway, with this out of the box, you can already enjoy close to 2.30 seconds, 2 minutes 30 of flight time, which is not bad, okay, for 150 milliamps powered one cellular LiPo, which definitively already a good performance. It means that with some this basic mode I mentioned a few seconds ago, we can expect maybe 4 minutes without any problem. So this machine comes with this 800 TVL, CMOS, 1/4 sensor size. The thread is an M7 format, and you have just one tiny button here. You can do everything with short press. You can cycle between the 8 frequencies inside the current band. If you long press more than 2 seconds, you will select one of the 5 bands. Okay, raised band is supported, and if you long press more than 5 seconds, you will cycle between NTSC and PAL. Be aware, by default you are in NTSC format. Okay, so long press more than 5 seconds to turn it into PAL for most European users, I will say. The design sounds great. You will find the same Duke system, sounds robust, and it's lighter, and it seems that, and in practice you will see that the clipping rate is better with the E010S. You have a good punch, a little bit better, that's great. The clean flight configuration I will show in a few instants have been perfectly tuned for this machine, and only angle mode is available, no acro mode by default. So I will show now how to bind in with the FieSky receiver version with a Devo 7A modded with a CC1500 RF chip, but if you have a Taranis, it will be more or less the same procedure. And good news, the telemetry is here, at least for the RSSI, okay? I will show you. For the battery voltage, it's not the case because it's turned off by default in the clean flight configuration, so I don't know if the flight controlling board will be able to support the monitoring of the battery voltage, or it's just an option turned off. I will investigate on this, but sound very promising, okay? So what to conclude in priori, the cloverleaf antenna seems a little bit more exposed, so and maybe versus time you will have to replace with more linear one. The light sensitivity sounds great. I can compare probably both, and more or less the same time of lux sensitivity, around 1 lux, okay? So that's great, and you will show in my indoors demo flight. Now let's have a look how to bind this machine, okay, classic, and show the working efficiently the telemetry system. you.